Hey guys, Coach Katie here with the third episode of Tuesday Talks. On today's episode, I'm just going to share with you guys some answers to some tough questions that I was asked recently that I think will be beneficial for both coaches and players to hear. Again, this is just my philosophy, these are just things that I believe in, but I know that a lot of my fellow coaches share some similar views. So the first question is, what made you want to become a coach? Well, for me, after playing for so many years and playing in college and having lacrosse really be my life, when I graduated, I had a huge void. And it was really hard for me to transition from playing in college and those being my friends, that being just my general lifestyle, to nothing. So when I met Andrea, who many of you know, she was the head coach at UC San Diego, and she told me to come out to a practice, check it out, see if I liked it, and I instantly fell in love. It's really fun to, regardless of the girl's age that I'm working with, it's really fun to give back and to teach the skills that took me a while to learn, and to see them get it and pick up on it, and to also play that mentorship role. Like I've said in previous episodes, I think as coaches we lose sight that we are someone that these ladies look up to a lot, and so it's really fun to be that person and to be involved in their lives beyond lacrosse. But coaching is a great avenue to get involved and give back to the sport that gave so much to me. The second question is, what would you say are some of your biggest strengths as a coach? This is kind of a hard one for me to answer, but I think the first one that I would say would be communication skills. I'm very direct. I think that because of my playing career and having to communicate, directively, effectively on the field in the heat of the moment, when tension is running high and emotions are going crazy, I think as a coach, it's definitely given me the ability to take a step back and communicate with each of my athletes in a way that I know that they're going to respond. I think my second would be intensity. I'm very much work hard, play hard. I love getting in a good workout, or having a really killer practice. I love to just get in, get it done, because when you walk away, it's just such a good feeling. And then I think the third thing is kind of relative to Southern California. I think just my overall knowledge of the game, because I did play for so many years at all the levels, including college, that it's easier for me to step in as a coach and to teach skills and to see all the moving parts that are happening on the field during games. I think it's kind of hard, especially with women's lacrosse and there being 12 people on the field at one time. It's hard for someone who doesn't have that playing experience to kind of step into that role and be able to see all the things that someone who has played can see. So I would say those are probably like the big three for me. I'm still hungry and I'm still learning. Obviously a young coach, but I think that those are probably my top three attributes as a coach. Question 3 is, what was one of the hardest challenges you've ever faced as a coach? I guess I'd have to say that when you're coaching, regardless of how prepared for practice you are or how prepared you think the team is for a game, when you walk out on the field, sometimes you don't always know what you're going to get from your players. And, they could have had a bad day. They could just, be having an off practice, not being able to catch, not being able to shoot. And so as a coach, you have to be able to adapt, whether that's in this one drill or, completely changing and restructuring your offense or your starting lineup. I think that that's definitely been the hardest challenge. Sometimes you'll have a practice where something was working and then you go try to implement it into a game and it just doesn't. So that adaptability, I would say, is probably one of the harder things. But I think that comes with any sport, and just, human nature is not always consistent. Question 4 is, what would you say your coaching philosophy is? That's a good one. I'd say my philosophy is that I'm really dedicated to the growth and development of all my student athletes, both on and off the field. It's my goal to teach anyone who works with me not just the X's and O's of lacrosse, but to also show them and teach them skills that are going to translate to beyond the field. Whether that's communication, accountability, self-respect, self-awareness, responsibility. I mean, you name it. I think it's really important to not just teach them those skills, but also show them that how it translates to the field, and it's my goal to show how all of those things are applicable. Because regardless of how good you are, your career comes to an end at some point, and those are the skills that really matter, and walking away with those. I also want to push all of my athletes and to their limit, and build that mental toughness and that confidence, and to train them to operate and to make hard decisions in the heat of the moment, all while falling in love with the game that has just done so much for me personally, and I know a lot of other people as well. But in short, that's probably my coaching philosophy and how I approach any coaching situation. The last question is, what advice would you give to someone hoping to be a college coach in the future? I would say to keep an open mind and to stay hungry. The game is evolving and changing every day. So it's really important that you as a coach have that hunger to be better as a coach, to get better drills, to talk to coaches who are better and hear their coaching philosophy, learn different ways to handle team management. I think that when I see coaches who get complacent, that's where, teams plateau or they drop off. So my advice would just be stay hungry, stay humble, keep working hard. Just because you played and now you're the coach doesn't mean that you get to take a back seat. It's almost more work. But learn how to read the room too. I think if you become complacent, you also lose the ability to communicate with your players, and that's just such a vital part of being a successful program and a successful team. So my advice would be stay humble, stay hungry, and keep communicating with your girls, because you never know what you might get on any given day. So it's important to have that relationship and to have that confidence with them. Well, those were some tough questions, but that's all I've got for today, guys. If you have any other questions that you'd like me to answer, I'm more than happy to do that. Just submit the questions in the comments below or shoot us an email at info@teamrocksacademy.com. Thanks so much, guys. See you next week.